Welcome to WCM's Ascend Gala. We are thrilled to come together virtually today to celebrate our 2020 and 2021 Champions of Change. From the setbacks of the pandemic to confronting systemic racism, we've experienced significant learnings, gains, and milestones in our journey towards greater equity, diversity, and inclusion. We are so happy you can be here today. Now enjoy the show.
The last 15 months have been unimaginable. On the heels of an unprecedented year, defined by a once-in-a-century pandemic, we have lots to learn from and lots to celebrate. We have faced significant challenges, from adapting to a remote work environment, to navigating the unequal distribution of domestic and caregiving work, to mental health hurdles, and confronting systemic racism. If we reflect on and effectively integrate the learnings of this year, I believe we are on the path to reaching new levels of equity, diversity, and inclusion. My name is Lara Zink. I am the President and CEO of Women in Capital Markets. The Ascend Gala is all about ascending, even in the most trying of times. Over the next 3/4 of an hour, we will toast to our triumphs, hear from 2 outstanding women leaders, and enjoy live entertainment by some very talented guests. This is the single annual event where we acknowledge how we have risen and continue to rise above both as a community and as individuals. Our champions of change are a key reason for our celebration. These are corporate leaders who champion equity, diversity, and inclusion in their workplaces and actively push boundaries for their advancement. Specifically, they are addressing the corporate ladder's broken rung, the systemic barriers that hold women and racialized professionals back in their careers. The champions we applaud today lead by example. This model of leadership will be vital to how the future of diversity in the workforce unfolds. We are navigating new territory. At this turning point in history, we can design a landscape that affords flexibility and fairness to all of us equally. Thank you for joining us as we celebrate our achievements of the past, honor where we are in the present, and take part in shaping the Canadian financial sector's future.
Hi, I'm Naomi Sneakus, and throughout the show, I'm going to be giving you some WCM fun facts. So let's get started. Who said we can't save the world by playing by the rules because the rules have changed? Was it Bob Dylan? Was it Wham? Was it Goldman Sachs investment banking analysts? Or was it Greta Thunberg? I mean, I gave it away when I said Greta Thunberg and I paused, but you should know that. It's Greta Thunberg. For more fun facts, go to Instagram at WCM Canada.
Hi, I'm Michelle Khalili. I'm a Managing Director and Head of Global Equity Capital Markets at Scotiabank. A champion of change needs to push past the status quo, even when it's hard, taking real, tangible action for the equality and advancement of the women around them. The Scotiabank Women Initiative for Global Banking and Markets is a tailored program that helps women clients and the leaders and companies who stand behind an inclusion agenda take their careers and businesses even further. I'm particularly proud of our Scotiabank Good Corporate Governance program, part of our advisory pillar of the Scotiabank Women Initiative, which engages senior women leader clients to explore best practices, share board effectiveness expertise and emerging trends while enhancing their skills and potential as a board director. Banking is a people business, and at Scotiabank, We know that diverse teams better reflect our clients, bring greater diversity of thought to the table, and ultimately make us more successful. As a leader in this field, I feel personally responsible for challenging gender bias and inequality and making real change. Scotiabank senior management sets the tone that D&I is a priority, but success comes from making inclusion a part of everyone's job with clear measurement and factored into compensation. At Scotiabank, we establish internal champions for the D&I program, high-profile individuals who role model inclusive behavior at all times. We make our program targets and successes highly visible to everyone on the team, and we celebrate success and work together to raise the bar.
My name is Melissa Lee. I'm a managing director and head of the private capital group at CIBC in investment banking. I'm most proud of the scholarship programs that CIBC has established to attract women to the capital markets. We've recently expanded those initiatives to include Black, Indigenous, LGBTQ, and people with disabilities. Very excited about these programs because it couples both a financial reward with an internship opportunity at CIBC. Not only does this build our talent pipeline, but it also brings greater awareness of careers in capital markets.
Hi, my name is Daryl Hackett. I am President of Wealth Management in the United States for BMO Financial Group. Being a champion of equity, diversity, and inclusion is important to me because life's opportunities are not handed out equally. Sometimes it takes active, constructive intervention to ensure that those that are deserving and capable have an equal chance, regardless of their circumstance.
Hi, my name is Erica Benjamin. I'm the Chief Administrative Officer at BMO Capital Markets. When I first started my career, there were very few women in the industry. I remember thinking that everyone looks the same, white men. Over the course of the past 25 years, there have been a significant level of change. I've also been very fortunate to have had support from mentors and sponsors that have lifted me up while I was down. Being a champion of equity, diversity, inclusion is important to me, as it is my responsibility to ensure the change continues to evolve. While I agree it's everyone's responsibility, it starts with me. If I help just one person through their career, through their journey, every part that I can do just helps knowing that I did my part.
Hi, my name's Anita Steffen. I just recently retired from RBC, where I was the Managing Director and the Head of Business Services for Global Markets. We've all read the benefits of diversity in the workplace, improved financial performance, better talent retention, but it really goes beyond the workplace, and that's why it's important to me. If we're able to meet, interact, socialize, and work with people who have different experiences, different backgrounds, we learn more, we become more tolerant, we ultimately become happier, we're better humans. When you get a new puppy, they say you're supposed to introduce that puppy to 500 people in the first 3 months. Well, people aren't that different. Puppies become happier, they become more balanced. I think people become more balanced with diversity in their lives. We all need to be better listeners and to be truly open to including everyone in the discussion and in the decisions. We can assemble diverse teams, we can have diversity around the table at a meeting, but if it's the same few people doing all the talking and making all the decisions, then we won't really be able to retain diverse talent. We're good at recruiting for diversity, but we're not so good at retaining diversity. This doesn't come naturally to most people. It takes work, and there's lots of tricks to train yourself to be a better listener. We need to create more mobility in our workforce at all levels. Our typical pattern in capital markets is to hire new grads, possibly let them rotate around to a few desks, but then they land in one silo, and we expect them to work their way up that silo for most or all of their career. And many times, good talent gets stuck. So when we bring in women back into the workforce after a career break, or we try to accelerate more women into senior roles, there's often a lot of resistance, or it feels a lot like tokenism. If we could get better at mobility and moving people around, both men and women, then I think we'd be able to retain more women and promote more women into leadership roles. To me, a champion of change is someone who can drive culture, a culture of inclusion, a culture of change, and someone who has persistence. Persistence, this is not easy. It doesn't happen overnight. We put in a lot of quick fixes. What we really need to do is be persistent and keep at it in every part of our life and every part of the workforce.
Hi, it's Naomi, and here's another WCM fun fact. Now, did you know that 41 out of 500 companies this year are led by women, which is a record year? Welcome 2021. But did you know this? That's 8.2%. So, 100% of that 8.2% are actually led by overachiever mothers, wives, partners, daughters, sisters that exist on very little sleep. Good for you. Michelle Obama said, "Let's be very clear. Strong men, men who are truly role models, don't need to put down women to make themselves feel powerful. People who are truly strong lift others up." Now, it should be noted that to keep your strength up in order to lift others up, make sure you have a balanced diet of fatty acids, protein, and your daily intake of Margaret Atwood. Oh, you want another fun fact? Let's do it. Layla F. Saad, the author of Me and White Supremacy, said, "You cannot dismantle what you cannot see. You cannot challenge what you do not understand." You know, it takes less time to dismantle a 10,000-piece puzzle. Less time, but both start with one step. No, I'm not candy crushing. I'm finding some more WCM fun facts. Here we go. What do Diane Kendricks, co-founder of ABC Supply, Marion Hitch, co-founder of Little Caesars, and Oprah Winfrey have in common? A, they're all in the top 10 richest self-made women list. B, they know how to change a tire in 15 minutes flat. Or C, they're all women who sleep less and do more. I mean, who's kidding who? It's probably A, B, and C. But the actual answer is A, they're all on the top 10 richest self-made women list. For more fun facts, go to @WCM Canada on their Instagram.
And now, Linda Seymour, President and CEO, HSBC Bank Canada.
When I reflect on all the champions of change that have influenced me, I am honored that women in capital markets saw fit to put me into that category. Thank you. Let me tell you about why, when I was younger and looked at the CEO, I didn't think that could be me. I was very ambitious, but unlike many of my colleagues who were mostly male, I was not geographically mobile, which could have derailed my career at a global bank. If I had been more mobile, I might have had a more linear career. If I had been less vocal, others may have had room to make assumptions about my ambition. And I might not have had the breadth of experience across all our businesses and operations that allow me to operate effectively as a CEO today. There were many times throughout my career when I was the only woman in the room. And today, leading an organization that has had a gender-balanced board since 2013, it is much more unusual for me to be the sole woman in any interaction. For all my hard work, resilience, and willingness to speak up, I would not be where I am today without some great mentors, both men and women. When I think of champions of change, that is who I think of, the mentors that challenged and supported me to get to the table. Those role models are a major reason I am so focused on what we do for the next generation of leaders, both in the bank and among our customers. I grew up in an entrepreneurial family, and that is probably why I love helping our customers to grow their businesses, many of them privately owned. So I've worked with a lot of families to manage generational transitions. Early in my career, that was often from father to son. More recently, and to my great delight, it's just as often father to daughter or mother to daughter. When I think about champions of change, I also think of the fathers that saw a future CEO in their daughters. And when I think about champions of change, I also think about the next generation. If the last year has taught us anything, it has taught us that what is possible to do to thrive through enormous change. But to be successful, we need the next generation at the table. We need their wisdom, their challenge, their resiliency, and their ideas. We need their difference to thrive. We need to remove barriers and obstacles, reach down and pull up the talent. At HSBC, we consider it our purpose to open up a world of opportunity for our customers. And we can only get it done if we are true to our values. We take responsibility, we value difference, and we succeed together. And I don't just mean bringing more women to the table.
We need all of our people across generations, cultures, including Indigenous, LGBTQ, and genders, to bring their diverse perspectives, experiences, and talents. When we hear them, we are wiser, stronger organization, and a wiser, stronger society. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Charles Bendeley, Regional Vice President at Manulife Investment Management. I believe the first step is education. We're still in an industry that is very much understood by the public at large, and yet there are so many different facets and roles such as sales, capital markets, product development, marketing, advice, and the list goes on. I really think education is the key to bringing awareness to the untapped market out there and to bring that talent through our doors, and I think innovation will spur from that. We need to be passionate about what we preach, but I also believe we need to pull others rather than push to be engaged and to accelerate ED&I. This way we motivate, not force. We reveal the possibilities and the great benefits that come with change that we're trying to inspire to, that come with doing the right thing. And we know those benefits are very powerful. Anyone that can inspire others just for a moment, one moment, to see another's point of view or way of doing things, someone who is passionate about what they believe in and are contagious in their views. A champion's belief is so embedded in their values and who they are that they're quite frankly very stubborn, and I think they won't take no for an answer and are very persistent therefore in their endeavors and ultimately succeed in making change happen.
My name is Sean Mann, and I'm Managing Director and Head of the Securitization Group at CIBC World Markets. First and foremost, someone who not only cares and believes in equity, diversity, and inclusion, but more importantly, is willing to take action and lead by example and with passion. I want to emphasize that, with passion. So we have to prioritize D&I in all of our actions and spend the time during and after work hours to get our message across to all levels of the organizations in which we work. And how are we going to do this? We're going to do this through D&I initiatives, right? Gatherings, presentations. There's going to be social gatherings, small group sessions, and one-on-one coffee meetings. Is the best way to do it. One-on-one mentoring and coffee meetings. Plus, obviously, throughout our daily work lives, we should be thinking of diversity inclusion in everything we do, and more importantly, imbuing this culture in others that we work with to help us better, hire and help people progress within our firms, right? Using the diversity inclusion, mentality.
Hi, my name is Lisa Deakin, and I am Director of Corporate Sales in Western Canada at HSBC Bank Canada. We need to continue to have clear D&I targets within the organization to drive change. We need to have data which we can use to nurture our aspirational targets and actions. Knowing where we are and where we want to be in the future will help us to clearly see the progress we are making as we move forward. This is important in order to provide transparency with our key stakeholders, both internally and externally.
Hi, my name is Marjorie Nadeau. I'm a Managing Director at National Bank. For us, inclusion and diversity are more than just words. They are fundamental values that define how we act at National Bank. We firmly believe that a diverse and inclusive company is stronger and more innovative. Sharing different views and being open to new ideas allow us to offer solutions that are better adapted to the realities of the time that we live in.
My name is Ray Williams. I'm a Managing Director and Vice Chairman in Financial Markets at National Bank Financial. I have a fundamental belief and understanding that we all have something to offer. It's very much a case of embracing that belief and living it, even as you experience pushback and questions about your belief. I'd like to think it's that unwavering belief and unconditional commitment that reflects a champion of change.
So you've discussed how men are the head, women are the neck, and how they need to work together in order to move. With that in mind, what advice would you give individuals who are working to create more inclusive workplaces and just being better allies overall?
Right. It's interesting because I learned that from my culture. Just watching my mom and dad work in the household, where when my mom became empowered and got an amazing job at General Motors of Canada, it kind of put a bit of a rift in their marriage. And so that saying and seeing how my mom was able to still, be, traditional, right? But recognize that, okay, she's still holding down this household. Like the head needs the neck. And so I think that culturally and even racially, if we realize that once we know about each other's cultures, like really living in each one, teach one society, then we're gonna move the dial to more equality, especially systemically. So I think about, when we were kids in elementary school, middle school, high school, we tend to learn through sport or learn through our palate, what we eat, or learn through our religion, etc. And now sometimes we get to a point in adulthood where it's like now we're defined by our business card, defined by our roles, but really we haven't been listening, haven't been learning in order to take action. So those are my three kind of takeaways that I've learned from the head to the neck to the listen. My mom and dad had to start to listen to one another, had to learn one another in their new roles in life, especially as immigrants, right? They came to make life, but now they've made careers and they have this family, but they're not the same people that they were in Jamaica. Right? So culturally, we gotta listen to each other, learn about one another, and then be empowered and educated enough to take action. And that's where, to me, it's like you educate to elevate. So those are the steps.
Yeah, that's beautifully said. And I think it reminds me a lot of, I watched you in Canada Reads, as did most people. And it was really enlightening, I think, the point of view that you brought to the table. And in that conversation, you discussed, and there was one statement you said where it was, privileged Canadians need to check their circumstances and look around and work together in order to make life better for minorities in Canada. With that and with discussing cultural competencies and learning from others, how would you say, 3 years on, how would you say that that's changed? Has your viewpoint changed? And has it changed in light of, last summer's, we're almost a year out from the Black Lives Matter protest. How has your opinion of that changed or grown since then?
Right, that's a great question. It's definitely grown, and because without change, there's no growth, right? So I even think about whether it's vegetation or anything that we need to really support us as human beings. There has to be change in order for us to grow. And so I think back to 3 years, and I'm like, at the time, people were like, "You're gonna be blacklisted," and all these other things, when really the reason why I was able to respond is because I was really sitting in a place of presence. I was really being where my feet were. Like even right now, my legs crossed, but typically I'd sit, put both feet on the ground, and then I know I'm right here present with you. And so fast forward 3 years later, I think that there's been some growth. I think that the change is coming, right? Because more, especially minority voices, are fearing less. We're not necessarily fearless, but we're fearing less, right? And being willing to take that chance to speak up. And speak up, for me right now, I'm like, listen, anger is okay, but rage, no. Let's put the rage down, because we're not going to hear anything or learn anything through the rage, right? And so I think that there's still way more, there's a lot more that needs to be done. I think that there's been some Band-Aid solutions happening. There's been a lot of promises systemically. There's been a lot of declarations and proclamations and all of the shuns, right? And eventually, I think conversations like this and the younger generation, I think the change is gonna come through the next generation. So even for me, I'm like, you know what? I'm willing to amplify my voice. If not for me, then for the next generation. Because somebody did it for me and you. We would not be sitting here.
That's very true.
Right? We're sitting in privilege.
Yeah.
As women of color, it is a privilege to sit here, speak to one another, and be able to have a voice, the voice that we have, and recognize that, hey, everyone, this just shouldn't be a surprise. That we're educated, that we're beautiful, and that we're poised, and that we want to actually be a part of this change. Yeah.
That's great. Yeah, it's a great answer. And it's good to hear all the shuns or something that we're seeing a lot. So I completely agree with that. And with that, you've discussed being bold and being courageous. And I think it's something as WCM where we support women in capital markets and women in finance. I would love to hear your thoughts on what women can do or your advice to young women starting their careers, and whether it be male-dominated environments, market, whatever it might be. I'd love to hear, your advice to a young woman starting out.
I'm actually bursting at the seams for some reason to answer this question. Even though I dwell in the entertainment, arts and entertainment space, just last week, true story, I was speaking to Vanessa Antoine. She's the star of a show called Digstown. And what she's a black woman, we came to the conclusion that more women in all spaces need to speak about money. We need to speak about our earnings. We need to know and establish if there's pay disparities. We need to empower ourselves in that world of finance. I mean, there are women to this day that's so traditional that they're not the ones balancing the checkbook. They're not the ones going and sitting with the investment advisors. They're not the ones, we need to empower ourselves. We know what hair we want to wear. We know what outfits we want to wear. We know all the makeup. They got us by with the makeup world. You know what I'm saying? What about money and finance? That's where there's power in that. There is power in that. And I think that if we are the only women at the table, that's not good enough. We shouldn't be, I'm the first. I'm the only. Not good enough. You should not be comfortable sitting there and not really opening the door for somebody else, or at least leaving it cracked open so another woman could kind of peek through or at least hear the conversation. Right? So it's time to share. And share with other races. We recognize that, hey, some of my peers, for example, especially white peers, are oh, we're now sharing what we make. Oh, what? They're paying you that? So little? Or, oh, and then they stand in the gap. That's the only way.
Well, thank you so much, Julie, for all your answers and all your insight. Your experience is so welcomed, and I loved your answers, so thank you so much.
It's my pleasure. It's a privilege to be here. I'm so grateful. So thank you.
True or false? Deloitte's original name was Deloitte and Touche. It's true. Now they're just called Deloitte. They got tired of people saying touche after every important meeting. True or false? Google's original name was Backrub. It's true. Can you imagine though, if you needed a fun fact, you'd be like, oh, let me just backrub that. Not PC. No way. Here's an interesting fact. Globally, Canadian women rank first in terms of involvement with newer businesses, ahead of the US and Britain. Now, if you listen super carefully, you can hear female business owners as they fly over the UK and US chanting, "We're number one! We're number one!" First class will never be the same.
Hello, I'm Christopher Walker, and I'm the Chief Compliance Officer for Canadian Wealth and Asset Management at Manulife Financial. Being a champion of equity, diversity, and inclusion is huge to me. It's part of me. Being affiliated with a marginalized group is definitely a key motivator for me as well. When you look at diversity, there is so much that you can use within your company, and I think it's important and imperative that we do use it. Because when you have diversity of thought, you have diversity of knowledge, and it definitely makes your decision-making, your business decision-making much more enriched. And companies that aren't doing that are definitely falling behind. So it's incredibly important to me.
Hi, my name is Joelle Mulombo. I'm a director and assistant market leader with BMO Private Wealth. Boldness, determination, and the willingness to challenge the status quo. I'm proud to announce that BMO Wealth recently introduced its first inclusive sponsorship for racial equity, which gives opportunity to those who historically didn't have the chance to be sponsored.
Hi, my name is Laurent Ferreira. I am Chief Operating Officer at National Bank of Canada. Well, we firmly believe that an inclusive culture is stronger, more resilient, and innovative. And it brings perspective and views that enriches your strategic choices. If the values are part of your culture, as a leader, you must be the champion. You must protect them.
Hello, my name is Ziad Hindo. I'm Chief Investment Officer at Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. I believe being a strong advocate for gender diversity is really centered around having that deep moral obligation and responsibility to do the right thing, because it will have a long-lasting positive impact on the work environment we operate in, but also in the communities where we live. It's more urgent than ever to address the issue of gender diversity because of the devastating impacts that COVID has had on employment opportunities, and on having access to those employment opportunities. But if there's any silver lining from the pandemic, is that it has brought the S in ESG to the forefront and has deepened and enriched the conversations about social impact. So it has given us all as senior leaders in this industry a platform to mobilize. And so we must seize the opportunity to address this issue once and for all. It's time to act, and that time is now.
My name is Beth Tyndall, and I'm the Chief People Officer at Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. It's really hard to put a finger on just one area I'm proud of, but I am really proud of the incredible engagement we've had from our employee resource groups and our leads for Pride at Teachers, Multicultural at Teachers, Women in Teachers, and ABLES at Teachers. But if I were to call out one area where I feel like we've made huge advancements, it would be in the area of mental health. We've provided substantial increases to our mental health benefits, held unstructured calls to allow our colleagues to talk about how anxiety, loneliness, depression, substance abuse, and other areas of mental health are impacting them. We've provided ready access to mental health experts and created a portal of information. I really believe that we've taken a step towards reducing the stigma of mental health in our workplace. I believe if we could remove barriers within individuals and within systems, we could unlock human potential for the greater benefit of society. You can imagine a world where everybody felt safe, that they belonged, that they were given equal opportunity and treated fairly. And sometimes the most meaningful contribution is when you can have a positive impact on one person. Be curious, open-minded. It's a wide area, and given historical approaches haven't worked well enough, it's important to lean into new ways of thinking and new ideas. Never be satisfied. A champion of change is someone who doesn't have all the answers, but is courageous and curious enough to explore the tough issues. Someone who isn't satisfied with status quo and recognizes that change isn't linear. You need to persevere even through obstacles and periods of stagnation.
It is my honor to introduce Rania Llewellyn, President and CEO, Laurentian Bank.
Thank you for inviting me to be one of your keynote speakers at this year's Ascend Gala. It's an honor to be here. I would like to start by congratulating the work WCM has done over the years, which helps and inspires women at every level of their career development. I personally joined in 2000 when I started my role in the corporate banking world, and have had the opportunity to attend more events than I could count. Each of them were insightful and inspiring. I hope what I share with you today will also bring you insight and inspire you to act. I'd like to begin with a piece of advice I was given a number of years ago from one of my male leaders. One day, as I was about to enter a key negotiation meeting, he said this to me: "Don't forget to raise your chair." I looked at him puzzled, not because I didn't understand what he said, but why he said it. I took his advice, and when I sat down, I cranked that chair up as high as it could go. And then it dawned on me. You see, I'm all of 5'2" on a good hair day, and more than likely, smaller than the men in these meetings. By cranking my chair, I was speaking to them at eye level, their eye level. It wouldn't have occurred to them to lower their chairs to meet me at my eye level, so I had to adapt. The raising, or should I say ascending, of my chair increased both my own awareness of the importance of optics as well as how body language plays such a significant role when communicating with others. It also increased my level of awareness of what it means to be seen as an equal to others. When we all got up to shake hands, back when we could still do that, they were taller than me. But at that table, I made us equals. I started with this story because it illustrates how we move forward. We have spent years agreeing to why we need more women representation in leadership roles. Why is no longer the challenge or up for debate. It's the how that is evading us. How is about holding ourselves accountable as corporations, as managers, and as leaders to not only encourage more women to take on leadership roles, but to create and foster a level playing field where women have an equal opportunity to succeed. Now, I want to ask you to think about a few questions. Is the progress of women being tracked at your company? Metrics are important. What gets measured gets done, especially in our industry. We measure performance, we measure profit, we measure everything. If you're not tracking the progress of women, are you taking it seriously? And if so, what specifically are you measuring? You need to ask yourself if what you're measuring makes a difference. Apples to apples, if 50% of your workforce is women, but they're all in junior or administrative roles, then that's just misleading. So make sure you measure what matters most. I joined the Laurentian Bank a few months ago as the first woman to head up a chartered Canadian bank. Laurentian was also the first Canadian bank to appoint a woman as chair of the board in 1997. This is a bank that was originally created 175 years ago to support the underserved, a bank with a history of being sensitive to the plight of all people. That said, even we have work to do. We've enhanced how we track, measure, and report on our ED&I data. We've added targets to our leaders' scorecards, directly linking the retention and recruitment of women to our performance. But rather than taking the approach of ticking boxes, we're making it a point of pride and accomplishment. We're going to make it something that we not only own, but something that we will continue to champion. My last question for your consideration is whether your company is thinking outside the box and innovatively in terms of how to break down systemic barriers. Let me give you an example. As a result of the COVID-19 pandemic, companies and employees have had to completely adapt their workplace models. This has required immense creativity, and in the process, we've managed to adapt quite well to the work-from-home model, proving that we can be as efficient in this flexible working arrangement. This is the same flexibility that women have been asking for years now, proving that being in an office doesn't make you more productive. For many women, this side effect of the pandemic has leveled the playing field dramatically. And this is exactly the type of creative opportunities we need to identify and seize on. So, I've talked about 3 things that companies can do to better support women. First, measuring progress is the foundation. Second, measuring impactful change is key, but it all requires a constant creative search for opportunities, which is the removal of systemic barriers and biases to level the playing field. And I'd like to leave you with 3 pieces of advice, which perhaps one day you too will pass on to others. Number 1, be courageous. Don't be afraid to make bold moves. Growth comes only from challenge and adversity. Number 2, don't always try to accommodate and fit in. I say, why fit in when you can stand out? Number 3, use your voice. Don't be shy in asking for things. Proactively manage your own career. Raising my chair enabled me to breach the glass ceiling, not just break it. The real challenge, however, is removing it altogether. Thank you.
The most productive working day of the week is A, Monday, B, Tuesday, or C, Friday. It's B, Tuesday, who knew? Now, Friday is known as I'll be taking my meetings on the golf course day. Now, we all know that everything you say to Siri is sent to Apple, analyzed, and stored. Now, here's another fun fact. Did you know that everything you say to a businesswoman is also analyzed, stored, and potentially used against you at your retirement party roast? Keep that in mind. Did you know the average smartphone user checks Facebook 14 times a day? Did you know this, though? The average female business owner also checks their Facebook 14 times a day and does the dishes, picks the kids up from school, remembers their best friend's birthday, and knows how to make an amazing chicken marbella. Can you say overachiever? I can. I hope you enjoyed those fun facts. I'm Naomi Sneakus. Now have fun at the rest of the Ascend Gala.
Hi, I'm Greg Debienne, Managing Director, TD Securities. First, I'd like to say that I'm humbled and I'm honored to accept this award. To ask what makes a champion of change, I'd offer a simple mnemonic, A, B, C. Authentic, but consistent. In order to be effective in delivering change, we need both, because people can distinguish the difference between real and fake. I would offer the big and the small programs that have given me the most pride. I enjoyed my time on TD's Inclusion, Diversity, and Leadership Council, as it included senior leaders within the organization. It had budget, it could reach large numbers. But I'd be remiss in not acknowledging why I believe I'm speaking here today. Mine is a very grassroots approach. I enjoy my time mentoring a diverse group of people, from direct reports to non-directs, from sales to traders to university students. No budget is required, it simply takes time. So taking a step back a little, and if we use the concept of first principles, biodiversity provides resilience to ecosystems, to species, and to populations. Why would an organization not encourage the same resilience within its own ecosystem? I'm blessed to work with a management team that has 2 traders, a male and a female, 2 salespeople, a male and a female. I've seen firsthand what diversity of thought can produce. So why is diversity and inclusion important to me? As an organization, as an industry, as a species, it should be important to all of us. I feel I'm simply doing my part. As with any goal in life, getting started is the most difficult step. I encourage people to find something that they can be authentic and consistent in, surround yourselves with like-minded individuals, and get started. It's pretty simple when you think about it. Mentor someone, join a committee, express your thoughts on LinkedIn, find a way of making a difference.
Hi, my name is Marta Cano Escobar. I'm a Managing Director and Head of Investor Solutions, Equity Derivatives in Scotiabank. Diversity and inclusion is not a destination, it's a journey. Each one of us is at a different stage in this adventure, and we should show empathy to other allies who are in the early stages of their D&I journey. We can help them by fostering their curiosity, promoting tough conversations, and remembering that we all have a lot to learn, as there is no one-size-fits-all answer to the challenges we face as we strive to create a more inclusive workplace and society.
Hi, I'm Paul O'Hay, Head of Global Equity Sales and Trading at Scotiabank. Plain and simple, it's about being an ally. It's being human. It's about listening, learning, and respecting those that have had different experiences. It's about having a voice and emphasizing a supportive, safe, and inclusive environment for all.
I'm Robbie Pride. I'm Vice Chair and Head of Corporate Investment Banking at TD Securities. So I commend everyone committed to championing ED&I. It's important, but very difficult work. We need to be very wary of performative allyship. And that's just where you're simply sharing knowledge about inequality, but actually not walking the walk. You're not facilitating real change through your actions. So what's helped me over the years is just really learning how to listen. You can't just assume that you know how to be an ally or that you're doing enough. You really need to get out of your comfort zone and understand that many things that you have to do as a leader might make you uncomfortable. But at the end of the day, that is what earns the respect, and that is what drives change. It's an ongoing commitment to making change over the long term that really matters.
Hi, my name is Aliyah Mohammed. I'm a managing director in investment banking at TD Securities. I got my start in investment banking through the Women in Capital Markets Heather L. Main Scholarship, which included a summer internship at TD Securities. They provided my access into this industry. As a former science student, with only one semester of business school under my belt during the interview process, that access, that opportunity was huge, life-changing. I've never forgotten, and I intend to continue paying that forward through my career. I think we are all clear on the human aspects of EDI and the value it brings to organizations, and the industry is making progress driven by passionate leaders. However, there continues to be significant work that needs to be done for us to live and work in an environment where EDI is the baseline. To get there, I've always believed that the effort of each individual counts.
I love you, mommy.
Listen. Where did I go wrong? Is it something that I said? My opinions when I noticed my emotions overfed. So what if I change the face of what a dream should look like? I'm supporting my ambitions, my soul being my light. Got past the intersection, I went left when you went right. Delivering a purpose, I'm living out my life. Just me and my decisions, a million of reasons why I had to fight. Just me and my decisions. I'm a girl, I'm a woman, I'm a girl, I'm a lady, I'm a woman, I'm a queen, I'm everything I can dream, everything I can be, everything I can see, everything I complete, everything I am me. I'm a girl, I'm a lady, I'm a woman, I'm a queen. I'm a girl, I'm a lady, I'm a woman, I'm a queen. Everything I can be, everything I can see, everything I complete, everything I am me. You're such a contradiction, stories overtold, so full of stipulations you really can't control. I wonder if you would change, then stay true to what remains. We were all created equal, you will overcome the shame. Rise above the torment, let's challenge all our fears. The pain is no contender, the principle is clear. It's me and my decisions, a million of reasons, had to hold on tight. Just me and my decisions. I'm a girl, I'm a lady, I'm a woman, I'm a queen. I'm a girl, a lady, a woman, a queen. Everything I can be, everything I can see, everything I complete, everything I am me. I'm a girl, I'm a lady, I'm a woman, I'm a queen. I'm a girl, a lady, a woman, a queen, yeah. Everything I can see, everything I complete, everything I am me. What somebody like you needs is the ability to be free. Free to set the pace, free to correlate, free to know your needs. I promised the man above I'd send you perfect love for health, wealth, and good fortune.
Yeah, Courtney. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I'm a girl. a girl, a woman, a queen, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah. Everything I can be, everything, everything. I'm a girl, I'm a lady, I'm a woman, I'm a queen. I'm a girl, I'm a lady, I'm a woman, I'm a queen. I'm everything I can dream, everything I can be, everything I can see, everything I complete, everything.
I'm Alan Tannenbaum. I'm the head of investment and corporate banking at BMO Capital Markets. A champion is someone who's willing to take personal risk, to put themselves out there, to stand up, take a position, voice an opinion, drive change, force their organization to make the hiring decisions, make the promotion decisions that will create a more inclusive culture and create better opportunities for all of those around us.
Hi, I'm Chint Kulkarni, and I work in corporate banking at CIBC. I'm a managing director there, and I run the loan syndications group and the mining lending business. The capital markets business at CIBC has been really committed to diversity, and a key focus has been on a culture of talent development. And I think that benefits everyone, because for people to develop irrespective of gender, of race, they need access to appropriate feedback, and they need the right opportunities through the various stages of their careers. And I think we can get leaders focused on evaluating the future potential of people rather than just looking at their historical roles and their accomplishments. And I think where we can be innovative is on flexible work options for all of our talent. We've learned a lot in the last 12 to 15 months, and we know we can use technology. And I think people can be productive and they can work outside of the office environment, and that needs to be available to all of our talent.
Hi, my name is Eric Bélanger. I'm part of the CIBC team. I'm in global markets, where I run the global distribution team and our global markets international teams. To me, education is key. Men have to understand that they have a great role to play in making women advance in their careers. Diversity adds value. Lots of empirical evidence about this. You need to understand the unconscious bias. It helps remove barriers, and is a must-do for anyone who is serious about diversity and inclusion in the workplace. We need to find out what most are passionate about and explore ways to overcome issues. Empower your team to ask questions. We can effect the changes we wish to see, and that's a way to accelerate progress.
My name is Scott Lampard. I am Executive Vice President and Managing Director, Head of Global Banking at HSBC Bank Canada. I think it's important because for too long, the industry and many organizations have been talking about being a more inclusive, being a more equitable industry. And I think that we need to ensure that we're moving beyond talk into action. And I think that it's critically important, first of all, from the standpoint of ensuring broad representation of the society within our workforce, But I also think it leads to infinitely better outcomes if we have a broad and inclusive, diverse set of opinions and perspectives that are represented in our organization.
Hello, my name is Lisa Hupflotz. I work at Manulife Financial as the head of finance for global wealth and asset management public markets. For me, being a champion of change means you embrace progress for the greater good. You feel excitement over the opportunity to drive equality and inclusion and harness that excitement to bring others along with you. You recognize that everyone reacts to change differently and are open and willing to listen to ideas and create an environment of trust.
Hi, my name is Millen Mulrain. I'm the Chief Economist at Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. I'm really proud of Ontario Teachers for making the bold decision to place inclusion and diversity as a central part of one of its 3 strategic priorities. And I'm especially heartened by management's commitment in championing the cause of equity, diversity, and inclusion. The lack of BIPOC representation on the corporate ladder in finance in Canada is a reality that has shocked me into action. For me, doing nothing is akin to being part of the problem, and that is not an option. I will quote the late Martin Luther King by saying, the ultimate measure of a man or woman is not where they stand in the moment of comfort and convenience, but where they stand at times of challenge and controversy. Never be afraid to champion what is right. Looking the other way is complicity. I strongly believe in the power of being the change you wish to see in the world. And so for me, a champion of change is anyone who becomes a change agent for the cause of equity, inclusion, and diversity they wish for.
Hi, my name is Amanda Holmes, and I'm the Director of Talent Acquisition at the Ontario Teachers Pension Plan. Being a champion of change is more than taking part in one big initiative. It's showing up for equality all year round and really looking for opportunities to educate yourself and actively advocate for others from underrepresented groups who may not have the same privileges or supports that you do. This can be everything from using inclusive language in the way that we speak to challenging ourselves with respect to unconscious or sometimes conscious biases we may have. And it's about making sure that people feel supported to bring their whole selves to every interaction.
Hi, my name is Harleen Baines, Managing Director and Head of Global and Spread Institutional Sales at RBC Capital Markets. Unfortunately, more women than men are opting out of the workforce or downshifting their careers because of the added responsibilities of home and childcare during the pandemic. We need to turn this problem on its head and leap forward and fully embrace a more flexible and open work environment. But providing more flexibility at work is only a positive solution if we de-risk, normalize, and encourage flexible work options for all. We need to fully embrace this new hybrid environment for portions of individuals' careers as the new way forward, and thus create a level playing field for everyone.
Hi, I'm James Neat, President and Group Head, Corporate and Investment Banking, Scotiabank. Hiring practices need to change to undo unconscious biases and ensure that we are assessing the very best talent across the globe. We are committed to ensuring our leaders continue to support the talents once they are enrolled and provide the training and support that our teams need to be successful.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Sonnenberg, and I run Quantitative and Technology Services for RBC Capital Markets. I believe a real champion of change has to speak with their actions. It is easy to talk about topics like gender diversity and say all the right things. And I believe that many people say these things and honestly believe them. But really driving and implementing change is hard. It is leading by example and holding others accountable. It is fine to talk the talk, but change occurs when we walk the walk.
Hi everyone, my name is Hélène Barsalou. I'm a Managing Director in Investment Banking in Montreal at National Bank Financial. So my advice to anyone who would like to become a champion of equity, diversity, and inclusion is really simple, is just not to start with any preconceived answer or solution. I think it's important to hear every voices that are around the table, give a fair chance to any ideas that are proposed, and let the best one emerge from the group that surrounds you. So I think it's a simple advice, but I think it's working well, and that's what I'm applying every day, trying to just start with an idea of the objectives and the goal that we want to attain, but not necessarily have already the answer of how it should be done, and really let the process and the path and just the journey defines itself with the voices around the table, and make sure that the best ideas are being brought forward.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Young. I'm the head of human resources for TD Securities globally, and the head of human resources for TD Bank, America's most convenient bank. So a champion of change sets really ambitious goals and pursues innovative solutions to complex problems. A champion of change inspires a genuine emotional connection to a vision and purpose, focused on a specific outcome and something that's complex, particularly like diversity and inclusion. It's a perfect example. A champion of change encourages and leverages diverse perspectives to really stare down obstacles and come up with some new creative solutions. A champion of change recognizes and sparks untapped creativity in others. A champion stays one step ahead, bringing in early ideas and recognizing new opportunities and new ways of thinking. A champion of change breaks barriers, fights complacency, all in the pursuit of the best outcomes. A champion of change looks to the external environment to identify new approaches and to change up some thinking and look at alternatives. And importantly, a champion of change also has the ability to influence the best and right outcomes, whether that be with their peers, with people that are more senior to them, more junior to them, but a very broad audience to drive terrific outcomes.
Women in capital markets. Sincerely, this is just the way it's going to be. Only a deluded few think that you deserve all that you're asking. You should hide the fact that you're gay. There won't ever be a day you'll have equal opportunity and pay. Starting today, diversity is just a trend. People lie when they say minorities will ascend. The corporate ladder isn't for you. So don't say racism is what got you fired. Truthfully, women should just settle for less. It's ridiculous for them to say that organizations need to make room at the table. Us men work harder for our compensation. I've stopped believing empowering women makes a difference. There's nothing you'll change. Stop thinking you are the women who will bring it and be it. Now let's read this poem in reverse and change how we see it. You are the women who will bring it and be it. Stop thinking there's nothing you'll change. Empowering women makes a difference. I've stopped believing us men work harder for our compensation. Organizations need to make room at the table. It's ridiculous for them to say that women should just settle for less. Truthfully, racism is what got you fired. So don't say the corporate ladder isn't for you. Minorities will ascend. People lie when they say diversity is just a trend. Starting today, you'll have equal opportunity and pay. There won't ever be a day you should hide the fact that you're gay. You deserve all that you're asking. Only a deluded few think that this is just the way it's going to be. Sincerely.
Sincerely.
Sincerely. Sincerely.
Women in capital markets.